need to do.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
All right.
So it's kidney failure, huh?
Here comes DA. Okay,
Yeah.
we can wait.
Hold off for a moment.
Hey, Jack, it's Linda. Is Aaron around? Okay, could you break away from the desk just for a second and check in Mo's office and see if her phone is there?
DA. Hello.
Yeah, please. Yeah, no, I'm not over at City Hall.
Hi.
Okay, thanks.
That one, did it start?
I don't know if it's
Is there a
on.
screen?
I've got it printed,
Okay, whatever you want,
So we're
wherever
good.
you want to be.
so we're good.
This is for you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yes.
Okay.
Dan, I have a post-meeting announcement that I need to
Okay.
make.
Will do. All right, so we're going to call to order at 5:07 in PM on August.
Okay, thank you so much.
11th.
Bye-bye.
It's on your desk. 10th.
Oh, since today, that's right, today's the 10th.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm lucky I remember what day of the week it is, let alone what day of the month. And let's call it to order. And before we get really started, I just want to say it's good to be back with you folks. It's, having been gone for several months, I missed it. It's good to be back. And as part of that, I want to say I am absolutely astoundingly thrilled with where our building is at right now. I'm glad it's open. I'm glad it's available to the public. It's still got some things to work out, but overall, it's fantastic.
Yay,
Yay.
thanks.
Yeah.
So-
It's great.
It's, you go in there and it's like, there's a room. And I'm just waiting for the stacks to get filled, which I realize is going to take a long time, but
Thank you for saying that.
yeah.
Like, because if they were filled, that would be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
We know where to go.
Yeah. But, yeah, the last 3.5 years have been, it's paying off. And I'm sorry to see negative comments on places like Oregon City Chit Chat, but these people don't know what they're talking about. So to the general public out there, come see the new building. It's fantastic. Okay, so moving forward. Sorry. Approval of the minutes.
I move approval of the minutes from the June 8th, 2016 meeting.
Second.
And those opposed? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we moved those. Public comments. Yay, we have public tonight. Always a good thing.
Finn Haverbeck.
That's it.
That's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
But we always appreciate it.
We do.
Yeah.
Especially with as much hard work as you guys do.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, we now turn the meeting over to Mo.
So this month, I'm kind of reporting on 2 months, and so you'll see that you've got June statistics, which are normal, and July statistics, which are abnormal. And, so for instance, like, there is no door count because there was no door counter. And we were
Was there a
closed.
door?
Yeah, there was no door. Yeah, for part of it, yeah. We were closed for almost 3 weeks and had no traffic. So the fact that we actually still circulated almost 14,000 books in July was not that bad.
That's crazy.
Because that's over 1/4 of our, usual amount. So, yeah, what an interesting last 2 months we've had. We got through June and, had summer reading up and going, which, by the way, summer reading numbers were very, very strong this year. I don't know about finishers, but people who signed up, we've exceeded our years past by, I think, about 300. I think we're at 14.
I know the adults were
Like,
like
way.
quadrupled.
Yeah, the adults summer reading was way higher because Gina really put a lot of effort into promoting that and getting some donations and stuff. So that continued throughout the entire closure over at the Pioneer Center, just like we've always had. It's a really nice spot to have outdoor things. So like today, the Border Collie things were there, and
Nice.
it's just really a nice
Yeah.
grassy area for that
Yeah,
kind
I went
of thing.
to the the Knights thing.
Oh, how was that? Knights Veritas or whatever?
Yeah, it was very, very cool, very informative. Granted, it's geared toward a younger audience, but there's still a lot of information that's, if you're not familiar with that time period or what they did, it's really, really cool. And I had to go home and watch A Knight's Tale.
I love that movie. So that went on in the background. So, you know, we closed up shop on July 3rd, stayed closed for the holiday, and then reopened. Went back to work and moved everything out. We were completely out by July 12th. I think our deadline was July 13th, and I think July 12th was the date that we moved the last stick of furniture out of the Carnegie. And the last thing to go was the big countertop that was the checkout desk. And that's now in somebody's garage as like a tool bench, which is perfect. And so, it was very, very empty. We had a good sale on July 9th, that Saturday. We got a lot of people coming in and looking around. We didn't have as many cool things to sell as what people thought, because really a lot of the original Carnegie stuff was long gone, you know. And we were able to give a bunch of our bookshelves to the Friends, who have really used those well. So that all turned out really, really well. We were out on time. We were in the new building, and things were not ready. So like the elevator, we didn't have the approval for the elevator yet. The HVAC was off because in order to ensure the warranty, they had to go back and redo some refrigerant stuff. It just was really not set up for us yet. Shelving was still getting set up. So we had these books, carts of books, like just stacked in the children's area, just row after row after row. And a couple of days, we did what we could, and then I just said, okay, staff, we need you to go take care of all the stuff that we still had in storage. And we sent 5 people up one day and 3 people up another. And
I think we're about 5 each day for 2 days.
And man, those guys whipped through that
all done.
to the point where we were looking at each other going, yeah, that's what we should have done a long time ago. But it's hard to get that mass of people with that amount of time on their hands. So it really worked out kind of perfectly, even though I was not thrilled that we were not moving in. So, you know, what they say, make lemonade out of lemons. That worked out fine. And then, you know, eventually we got to the point where everything was working. We did have to put back our opening 6 days or something, from the 21st, I think, to the 27th. But, that just changing that relieved so much pressure that we just we just couldn't have done it. Things just were not ready. So, on the morning of the 27th, you know, everybody was like, did you sleep last night? Did you sleep last night? Oh my God, did you sleep last night? Nobody slept a wink. They were so excited to open it up to the public. And, you know, there's still some stuff that needs to get done. There's no doors on the conference room because the track isn't in yet. And the doors to the conference room are in the small conference room because I don't want them falling over on top of people. And why move them far away at this point? They just need to be right there. So there's still stuff that needs work. And it's still a construction zone. There's still lots and lots of noise coming in from the Carnegie. And it's kind of funny because people are like, it's noisy. And it's like, well, what did you think? There's going to be this magic barrier? You know, because people just didn't think through that part. You know, we did because we have to. They didn't because they don't have to. We live with it all the time. So, for instance, we had a full day of no water, which when you hear the word no water, you instantly should be thinking toilets, which means that you have to run somewhere else to use the bathroom. We had one day that last week, and then tomorrow our electricity is being shut off so that they can do something over in the Carnegie. I don't know. They've explained it to me 3 times already, and it's like, whatever. I know the outcome is there's no electricity. But not all day. They're going to try, and they're going to come in super, super early and try and get that done by 8 o'clock when we come in. So, and then they have to turn the water off again, but hopefully just for the same length of time. It's pretty funny. So, you know, these things are ongoing things, and that will be the case until the end of September, when the Carnegie will be done and when we can, re-inhabit that area. We don't know exactly when we're gonna close yet, and we don't know for exactly how long, but what I do know is it's gonna be a lot easier because we have a place to be now, because we have a place to operate out of. We were like little homeless people there for like, a few days. We were like, well, we can't be in that building, and this building, there's workers all over the place. Really, where do you want us, So, so it was kind of a gift that we had the storage job to go to. So, I don't know, I predict that we're gonna need to be closed a few days, but I just don't, we'll just have to see how it kind of unwinds as far as, I just think it's gonna be way easier. And the grand opening will be October 15th, and I really need to start planning that and start getting that word out. But October 15th, each one of you has heard it now, hopefully,
Oregon
and has it
City
on your
Chit Chat.
calendar. Huh?
Oregon City Chit Chat.
It's on Oregon City.
I don't know if it is or not.
Well, you could put it out there.
I will put it on there.
There you go. That's your job.
It's a Facebook page, and it's specifically stuff that goes on in Oregon City, and you'd be amazed at some of the conversations that go on in there.
Probably not.
They had one entire thread that was, I'm glad that this guy at McDonald's got promoted. It's like, wow. I mean, seriously, hundreds of comments to it. It's like, wow, okay.
Yeah, they can go strange directions.
Mel, can you remind me then kind of what will happen from between the two buildings, like what will be moving back and forth?
Yeah, so all of staff will be in the basement of the Carnegie. And so right now, a lot of staff we're either sharing our offices, and then the remainder of staff is in the community room. So right now, the community room is closed off and not available for use as we envision it. We're breaking it in for you. And so all.
Is that the Coke spills on the carpet?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
So all staff will be going back down to the basement of the Carnegie, so that's getting remodeled for them. And then the Carnegie will hold like the periodicals, the Oregon collection, the microfiche and microfilm, which is like off-site right now in storage. The large print, what else did we put in there?
Maybe paperbacks? I can't remember.
Maybe paperbacks. Yeah, so it will become, and that's in the reading room area. So that will become more like a reading room. And the in front of the fireplace will still be set up kind of like a little living room. And then the former reference room will have the holds along in the bookcases along the wall. And then in the center of the room will be all the audiovisual, so all the DVD and all that stuff.
So that's moving down from second floor.
Yes,
back to
exactly.
Carnegie.
So because that's super popular stuff.
Mhm.
So that's where we want that stuff, where people can really, get to access it really easily. So, so that will open up more space upstairs for, more fiction and more nonfiction. Is basically those are the areas that are housing those collections right now. So they'll look even sparser. But we've started ordering things now that we're, in place and stuff. And we've started bringing back what we kept from storage as well. So, although we didn't keep a lot, after 6 years of being in storage, yeah. It's kind of like we looked at a lot of it and said, why did we keep this to start with? But it happened pretty quickly.
Some was damaged just from being in the boxes, too.
Well, exactly. Yeah, definitely stinky and old,
Yeah.
So, you want your materials in a nice new library to be also nice and new. It doesn't have to be brand new, but you don't want like icky things on the nice new shelves. And then a couple things that will happen that are not done yet in the new edition will be the end caps and canopy tops. When the shelvers come in to do the shelving for the Carnegie, they'll do that all at once. And then, so there's a couple places where walls like ceiling things like this will be hung above the reference desk and in the community room. So there's a few things that still need to be done, and that's one reason why we might have to close the library down completely in order to get some of that work done. So, as I said, the timing I'm still not sure of. But yeah, that's, so the elevator in the Carnegie will be a staff-only elevator. And then the elevator in the addition will be the only one that patrons will use. And then the book drop will move over to right next to the elevator. Not the physical book drop, but it'll go through the wall there. And then next year, when we get RFID, that's where those drops will be. And we'll have two, they're called patron induction sites. And that's where those mechanical things with their little interfaces will go,
Yeah.
right there on that wall. So that if you come in through 6th Street, or if you come in through the Carnegie, it's like both accessible, really easily accessible from each side. So then we'll have 3 openings. There will only be one side of the building that you can't enter as a patron. Staff can enter back there. But yeah, I think it's good. I think the 7th Street side of the building is the sleeper side of the building that people, once the Carnegie gets done, they'll really experience it, because there's that new reading circle out there, and then because they've kind of filled in front of the children's area with a really nice broad sidewalk. It's like a little mini plaza out there, and we've got a couple of benches that we had up at Hilltop that we've not been using that we can put there. And I think once that gets completely landscaped over there, it's going to look really, really nice, and you'll see a lot more people use that side of the park than have been in the past. So, yeah, I think it's going to be great. I just can't wait to see the Carnegie and what it looks like with new lights and shined up floor, and yeah, it's going to look really good. So business has been steady. We only got our door counters operational this week, maybe last week. So I don't really have any numbers to give you on that. Like, I really wanted to have like day one, like the number of people that came in on opening day, but that got lost in translation. So sorry, but they weren't working properly. They got worked on. Numbers got lost. So yeah, we've been very busy. It's kind of calmed down now that everybody's brought back their 3 weeks worth of materials. It was a little
Yeah,
crazy for the
yeah.
first week or so. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But we still have people wandering in who are experiencing their first time there. And I mean, I saw somebody today and she was just like, wow. You know, it's just awesome seeing people like that. You know, and seeing the kids play in the children's area and actually having space to spread out in, and you know, so far so good. I mean, I think we may need to add a little bit of furniture here and there of the right sort, but I'm pretty pleased with our selections so far, because you just don't know. Like, oh my gosh, you know, we were just sweating that furniture. So far so good. So, any other questions on, that's kind of like the building report and kind of operations all in one fell swoop, but any questions on that?
Yeah, within the first week, I brought in, we had gotten a load of these plastic sheets. I'm with Gleaners of Clackamas County too, and so we had all these sheets that nobody knew what to do with it. So I gave the children's librarian, Barrett, a buzz and say, I've got these plastic things. Could you use them for arts and crafts? She says, maybe. It's like, well, you just got all that new furniture and new carpet. I really don't think you want 4-year-olds with paint in there. It's like, aha!
Yeah.
So she got like three big boxes of those.
Nice. Very nice,
Probably
thank you.
the best
That's
way
a
to-
great idea.
It was something that I figured that given the newness of the building and how long we want to keep it that way, it's probably the best use for those.
Yeah. We started with a new custodial service actually as well. And he's a local person who, just he and his wife have this very small business. And he's just been doing a great job and telling us about things that he sees throughout the building. Like every day I'll get a little report on, did you know this window was such and such? Or like I noticed this gap in the elevator. He's the one that noticed that. And, yeah,
Nice.
it's, I mean, we really want to stay on top of it. We have to. But it's a lot more to clean,
Oh, yeah.
and it's a lot more to pay attention to,
Mhm.
yeah.
Especially when traffic starts picking up.
Yeah, it probably
All those
will.
windows.
Probably will. We hope so.
Well, I guess if this is kind of the building report, then I have a couple of comments. One is that apparently the park, the slide and the swings are getting used.
Yes, the playground is open.
And apparently,
Everything's fine.
okay.
We are still missing 2 swings because they were the toddler swings. And somebody actually drove by, almost had a heart attack at seeing them because we're supposed to just have big kid swings, not toddler swings there. And it was one of the people on the Parks and Rec Advisory, I think. So we had to reorder, so they haven't come in yet. So that's why there's only 2 swings.
And the other important comment is still on budget.
Ooh.
Yes.
So.
That's great.
That is awesome.
mhm.
Still on time, still
With-
on
with-
budget.
With 8 weeks to go.
That's pretty good.
All right.
Yeah,
Terrific.
yeah. I
Very
think we're
good.
gonna make it.
Very good.
I know. Jeez. You know, it was just a dream to even be here. We're still pinching ourselves. We literally are. So the other thing I have under this category is the community room use policy and the meeting room use policies. And Dawn pointed out just like a couple of things to me. One was a typo somewhere, which I'll find. But the other one was that if we were actually telling people that the liability thing, the reservee assumes all liability for damage or theft, he thought maybe there should be a signature, a page where
They
they
sign.
like agree to that and sign their name. So.
Well, how does that work?
I don't know.
I guess you don't have any of that going, but you do have occasional functions in the Carnegie already.
Not that I wouldn't be in charge of, though.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm. I see, okay.
So this would be,
what do they do at the community center, for instance?
that's what I can find out.
Okay.
So I think what I would ask is that, you know, we've gone round and round on these already. And if there, we can always amend them, and what I would recommend at this point in time is that we use them for a while and see how they work, and just get up and running. And I can talk to the Kathy Wiseman over at the community center and ask her if she has people sign off on something. I would particularly think for our community room, which will not be available until October at this point. So we've got time to figure that out. And of course, our conference room is not available yet, and neither is our small conference room, so we still have time. But we have people already asking about making reservations and stuff. And so this does go into how often you can make reservations, and we do have a Google Calendar set up to take those reservations. So if we agree to this, then we can at least start doing the reservation thing and just kind of proceed and see how it works, and then I can report back to you on how it's working, and we can adjust as needed. But I think that the bones are there, you know, that if it just needs a little tweaking, then that's an easy thing, once it's approved. So,
I have a couple of just grammatical things.
oh, that would be
too,
great
that-
if you could
that-
just give those to me, yeah.
On the second paragraph, in the second sentence, it just sounded off to my ear where it says administered or sponsored by the city, and then City of Oregon City sponsored activities. It just seemed like that sponsored activities shouldn't be after City of Oregon City,
Okay, I'll take a look at that.
since it already said administered or sponsored
Right.
by, so.
Yeah, we can delete that.
And on the second page, in the first sentence, on number 3, organizations may not, the library's phone number.
Use.
Yeah.
I think that's what one Dawn was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I noticed on the third page in number 13, The community room is available for use before and after the library is closed. Should that be for use before the library is open and after the library is closed? Okay. Oh, and then the last thing was under liability, number 2. Should there be a "the" in front of city?
Which one are you on?
The very last sentence on the 3rd page, liability,
Oh,
number 2. It just starts with city, assumes. Maybe Oregon City or.
yeah, that would sound better. Okay. Great, those are very helpful.
Oh, and just one thing I had a question on page 1, under the use guidelines, number 1, requests for use of the meeting room shall be made in person or by phone at least 24 hours prior to the requested date. But the last sentence says, a completed application and deposit must be delivered to the library within 5 business days.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense, does it? Yeah, let me rewrite that.
I just want to make a comment about the liability issue here, where people reserving the library assume the responsibility. You know, anybody can sign a form saying, okay, I'm responsible, but they're worth nothing, so, you know, they don't have insurance, they don't have, and they do some pretty major damage, and who do you go after? So when you start down that road of looking for responsibility for those people who are using the space, how far do you go with that? And up to and including requesting certificates of insurance.
Oh.
Yeah, so I you know, I don't know how, that's why I think
Yeah, I
probably
mean, I don't,
the center over here can give you some guidance on that, but you know, unless you've got that, you know, you really don't know what they're responsible, what their capabilities of responsibility.
right, I mean, I think like with the community room, if it's like a group that reserves something, then, I mean, you know, they're gonna exist for a while, and you could like, you know, work something out with them if they actually break something. There's probably gonna be a bunch of individuals who know nothing.
Gotta come
Yeah.
back here.
May I say?
Yeah, come on up. Of course, Ms. Risk Manager, please.
Perfect.
Former Risk Manager.
Nancy Ide, I'm the former city recorder here, and although it's been a year and a half or so, but I did do a lot of the risk management, and at that time, the city has a standard liability waiver form that anyone who rents any building or a room in any one of the city facilities, there's a couple different ones based on what the actual use is, but there is one already available and ready to go for you
Great.
that requires a signature, and it does require the well, sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't, just depending as far as requiring the certificate of insurance. So, but generally it does require it. So that way you'd have you know, some
Something.
to go on
Okay.
if there was an issue.
Well, I
And
suppose the question,
Katie Riggs can find that for you.
Great.
well, the question is whether you want to go that far.
Right, I don't, but you know, she
Only
said
takes one issue,
Yeah.
and then you're like,
there's a
we
lot of
shoulda.
AV in there, so I have to really look carefully at that.
Yeah.
You know, that can get ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to, yeah. I
Thank you,
think it
Nancy.
can also get locked down though, so. Okay. Good question. So, other grammar things or questions?
One last thing on
Yeah.
number 13 on page 3.
Yep.
If it is before the library opens, I notice we have a must conclude prior to 10:30. Should there be a cannot start before time, or?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't really care. I just thought it
Well, actually, if they're in there using it for some early morning function, why would it matter whether the library is open or closed?
Well, it doesn't matter if the library is open or closed in some respects, that's true. But it's just, what his question is like how early would be reasonable to let people come in and use the building?
3 in the morning?
Yeah, because we don't want them there at all hours of the night, really. You know, I mean, they could be, but we'd prefer not to. We thought about putting that in there, and I think we left it out. But it is an interesting question, because we do put the evening thing on there.
Yeah.
So, I don't have a strong feeling either way.
I suppose you could, it's easy to imagine a Rotary Club meeting or something like that showing up at, 7 in the morning, which is what they do.
Yeah, it would be fine.
But then along comes somebody who says, yeah, I want to use it from, 4 to 7 for some.
You could just say the community room is available for use between 7 a.m. and 10:30 p.m. And then if used
That's a good
before the
idea.
library is open or after the library is closed, I mean, if whatever hours you feel comfortable with.
Now, there's some security protocols, aren't there, about all this?
Yeah.
Are there some security patrols that the city hires, or do the cops come by and look once in a while to make sure? I mean, who makes sure that there isn't somebody in the library at midnight?
Well, if you drive by and the lights are on, somebody's in there.
Uh-huh.
Call me. No, I'm serious. It's like we will have, we have a security system that's not even
Yes.
active right now.
But even still, the community room would be exempt from that if it was in use while the library was
in use,
closed.
right.
yeah.
They can't get into the rest of the library,
Right,
though.
right.
So that's the thing that saves us.
But I'm just thinking about, an event that's for the community room, and then so it goes beyond, let's say, 10:30. But how?
Yeah, well, there's not really
who's checking
anybody
on
that's
that?
going to be there to check on it,
I
yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And who lets them in if it's at 7 in the morning or 6?
Well, we'd have to work out that access. It would be kind of the opposite of leaving.
Yeah. They bring coffee and donuts,
I'm not really
but-
crazy about this, but in some respects, because until we really get this down, it's not going to be easy, but I think we're going to have to do it a few times before we really get it down.
And just make sure that the first group that uses it is aware that they're the guinea pigs.
Yeah, but they're need to be the most trustworthy people. Maybe they should try some things that
Yeah.
I'm sure I could talk some people into doing that.
You're good at that.
You can get the Beaver Creek Men's Book Group to come in and do some testing if you
Oh,
want.
goodness, you guys.
We could take the limits.
Nothing but trouble. No drinking is allowed.
What?
Oh, yeah, that'd be your first problem.
Yeah, right?
Very first
No book club, right? Yeah. So, I know there's a lot of changes that were suggested, but can I go ahead and use this and start doing some things? Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Gotta
Do you
start
want a
somewhere.
formal motion on that?
I would feel better if I had a formal motion on this.
I move that we approve the small conference and everything room use policy and the community room use policy.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Great.
Okay.
I'll send you
Passes.
guys out the revision just when I get to that soon, just so you've got it. And then we can keep talking about it. I think that's all I have.
All right. And we sort of already hit the building report, sort of, unless you've got more to add.
I think we're done with it unless you guys have some more questions. Did you notice that the stairs were gone from did I mention that already? I can't remember. From the Carnegie, the front stairs are gone.
Didn't notice that.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so they chipped away at those a couple days ago. So those stairs were made, the really important thing to remember is those are not historic stairs. Those stairs were built in 2001. when the renovation was done. And they did not look like the original stairs, and they were not to code. So the new stairs that are gonna be put in will be much more like the original stairs, and they'll be much safer. So it's just like slight changes, it's not
So
huge.
instead of this angle, it's more like that.
Yeah, exactly. That will be better, and it will be to code, because the measurements were, I went out and measured each one. I looked up the code, and I went out there, and I was like horrified. They weren't all off that badly, but enough that each stair was slightly different. And you don't want that, because that's how people trip upstairs and trip downstairs. So they'll look a lot better. So if you get any questions, or if Oregon City Chit Chat is talking about that, just like make sure people know we're not defacing any historic aspect of the
That was
building.
good.
On that note, can it be explained to me why the slide has a ladder as opposed to steps?
I have no idea.
Okay. Because I can see that coming up. It's a ladder, and it has the pole behind it, but I'm assuming it's approved for Parks and Rec, but
Yeah.
it's
Different.
It's definitely a different design, and Charlie's first comment was, "This isn't safe." From my
Wow.
6-year-old who throws himself
Yeah,
off of things.
right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So if you have smaller children who aren't used to climbing up vertically, it's a straight ladder up with a pole behind it that you can slide down. However, if your child's not a strong climber, if there was a reason why that was selected, I would just like to know it. So if it comes up, I can give an answer as
Right.
to, oh, well, this is the
I have
newest.
no idea.
But yeah,
Okay.
it's not, it doesn't.
Discussion,
Of all of the
I didn't-
discussion over the historic
Yeah.
I
slide,
did
I
not
wish
think
they would have
about
just
the
moved
slide.
that damn slide over as opposed to that one, because the old one at least was an angle up as opposed to a vertical.
Yeah, that new one nearly blinded me the other day. Come past there, and the sun's shining off it. It's so shiny.
I'm just curious if there was a reason why that was,
Well, I didn't order it, so I don't know.
okay.
I will ask.
Parks and Rec. All right. Anything else? All right, moving on to communications. Come on up.
I'm still Linda,
It's good to know that you have a
but I'm wearing 2 hats.
Ah.
Jan wasn't at the Friends meeting till the very end, so I asked if I could give their report. And the report is that the lease is being renegotiated. Their annual meeting is going to be December 1st, and they have volunteer hours of 471 3/4 from the month of July. So that's for the Friends. And I guess I should tell you too is that they're going to give their last installment to the foundation at the grand opening. So $25,000 at the grand opening. They already gave $75,000. And so for the foundation report, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But we still need your help. I don't know if I've talked about it before because sometimes my memory sucks. But, right now we have a Collins Foundation grant. And I just want to get the word out to the whole city that we've been given this grant that's going to give us $25,000 if we get 250 new donors at $100 or more. And so the timeline on that is from December the 8th, 2015, and we've been given a date of September 1st with thinking that we're going to get it extended. Right as of this morning, when I left the house, we had 136 towards that 250. So my husband and I have been going to the farmers market every other week and talking to lots of people. Money's coming in at the $100 level, which is great. We also went out to about 50 businesses and went to the businesses and gave them letters. Karen's going to the chamber and to the Rotary every week. And so we're very confident that our goal's going to be met, but we'd like to go over our goal and we'd like to get this grant. So if you can talk it up to anybody, talk it up.
Is there a way to share it on social media? And on the page, is there a Facebook like that can be easily shared out? Because I can see that being, I know I could easily share
We're going
that.
to give it to the farmer's market, and we're going to get it on Oregon City Chit Chat for sure.
Okay.
So you mean
We have
just
our
that
own-
one
we
Just
have our
that
little
one
thing?
thing, hey people,
Yeah.
this is happening by
Right.
September 1st. I mean, is there a Facebook like on?
Well, we have a
the-
website.
Okay, so we could.
You have a Facebook page too.
Yeah, we have a.
Okay,
Yeah, it is
So
probably
we
on there.
could put that on your Facebook page and then share.
I would share.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
That's how you can get it.
Okay, I'll talk to
Because
Steve.
that's a size of a donation that a lot of people can
Can
meet.
manage.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in fact, I spoke to one gal and she said, "Oh, I can't. My kids are little. I can't do that." And she had already been talking about being in a nursery. I said, "How about if the nursery gives it? If everybody in the nursery gives $1 or $2, maybe can your nursery give it?" So,
Are you gonna
groups can go
will it be
together.
announced at
Our
the-
neighborhood gave it.
Will it be announced at that? I don't know what, I have no idea what kind of things get announced at that. That's a good idea.
And in conjunction with the grand opening, we're having a donor thank you the night before. Any other questions, DA? Do you have? I didn't get the
Well,
minutes. so-
while you were talking, I passed out the draft of last
That's fine.
meeting minutes, just so they've got that.
Anybody else have any other questions or?
The foundation has done amazing work. They really have worked so hard. The friends in the foundation, the library just would be nowhere without these guys.
Even though I'm doing the work, I'm amazed. I mean, to think that we promised that we would raise $500,000 and we got money in the bank, people. And we're gonna be handing it over to the city and we're gonna be meeting this.
Well, I think
Gonna.
we need to remind them that there is a commitment already from the foundation to provide a pretty big chunk of money into the budget. I can't remember exactly
I know
what
exactly
that
what it is.
Okay.
The foundation recently made sure that our project manager, the keeper of the budget, knew that the foundation could keep their commitment of $241,000 plus the stairs, which they got a Metro Enhancement Grant for, which was almost $17,000, and then the Reading Circle, which was $27,000. So they have committed to saying, we are going to be able to hand that money over for sure, plus more, but.
And have an investment fund when it's over.
Right. The
And
thing,
have
that
money.
really helps the budget though, because that's money we can count on now. That's, yeah.
And we'll have money to continue the foundation in the future. When the board turns over, there will be money there. I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
All volunteers.
That's
All
great.
volunteers.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And we have a very generous citizens in our community.
Mhm.
And,
Extremely.
and people that work hard for grants. We've got a number of grants.
So true. Can't thank them enough.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The support we get from Oregon City is incredible. Yeah. Not every library is like this. Not every city is like this. It's amazing. We should be very proud of our community.
Yes. Right. One thing I did note, since I had to use a different library for a period of time, they've caught on to the silly Pokemon Go rage.
Oh, yeah.
And so the Westland Library has a Pokemon gym as part of their setup. I'm just wondering how hard it would be for us to do that.
Wait, a Pokemon gym is where people actually come and compete.
I think it's a training center. I don't know so much if it's a compete.
No.
but-
They have one of those that's over at the community center.
okay.
And it's like there's zombies walking around outside all the time.
You should see some of the footage I've seen of the Pokemon Go accident-related things. It's like people driving down the freeway and all of a sudden they just
Yeah.
automatically just suddenly change directions for no reason.
Yeah, it's my understanding we have some kind of Pokemon Go thing that can be captured somewhere on our property.
Okay.
I don't know how it got there, I don't know what it is.
There was
Don't
one on
they
the
need to
pizza
check,
box.
like, this is the whole thing I don't get, like, don't they think they should have asked, like, civic and public places and private residences, is this okay with you?
Yeah, I don't
And I
think that
just,
part
it
either.
boggles me that there was no conversation. They had stories about fire stations having emergency calls because people wanted to get into their fire station, and a hospital in LA inundated with people walking around, impeding people from doing their job of,
Right.
I'm sorry, I just, I
The
find
lack
it
of
really.
common sense on
Lack
it
of
is
common sense and
pretty amazing.
respect.
Yeah.
I find it bizarre, sorry, that was my rant.
I'm in the same boat with you. I just,
Got a serious opinion about that?
I do.
Yes.
I'm just looking at it from the point of view of possibly more people
I
coming
get
to the
that.
library.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
And I saw it over there,
The
too.
funniest thing I've heard about that is some guy trained up one of these fire things, renamed it Satan, and put it in the Westboro Baptist Church.
I mean,
It's just, I thought that was hilarious.
Okay,
Anyway.
on to number 7.
Moving on. Any future agenda items that we need to discuss other than
Getting finished with our building.
getting finished with the building and
Building.
preparing for the grand
Planning
opening?
another party.
Another party would be good.
If that is all we have, then we shall adjourn until September.
Oh, September something.
September something. Second Wednesday.
I don't have my phone on
14th,
me.
I think.
14th?
14th?
So.
14th.
Okay.
14th it is.